I didn't think in any way it was meant to be offensive. It was just like history happens. So, you know, if he was offended personally, I apologize to him, but it wasn't intended to be that way. It was just, you know, we got these stories and sometimes you tell them and you don't think about it. So, but Adriano's a legend and he's a really good guy. And, you know, he's always giving me props, so I really appreciate it.
I'm pretty sure he'll accept your apology, but I want to say personally that if it weren't for you, De Souza, all of us would probably not even have a career. So thank you very much, Kelly, for everything you've done, and thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, you guys. All right.
Powerful words there from Kelly Slater, and this guy deserves every accolade that's been given to him. Adriano de Souza, the ultimate retirement lap around the world, but he is not done yet. If we know anything about how tenacious Adriano is, he will fight all the way to the last second of the last heat of his career. And right there with that fall, Kelly Slater said it. He said it quick. Almost glad that he fell on the right because it meant his legs were that much more fresh for the left. And Adriano with a 7.83 on a...
Heading into the top seeds from 6 all the way to number 1. We're going to be going back to back to back all the way up to Toledo. We'll see Medina all fighting for spots into the top 8. Right now, De Souza is looking for a 6.55 on this left for a qualification spot in the top 8. 2015 world champ rolls in. All started with a $7 surfboard his brother bought for him. Took that, ran with it, became a world junior champ, one of the youngest to do it. Beautiful form, his rhythm is solid, so much power. Thriving off his old passion to compete, but also for all the love from his competitors wearing his jersey in the water. De Souza setting up the pit. Snap to slide, and he'll stall his way into the tube. Let go of the wall. Time for the end section hack. One more bonus for Adriano. And a job well done. Remember, chasing down the 6.55, and on that one, he dedicated that one to Kelly Slater. A longtime rival, but always had respect for his rivals throughout his career. Let's have another look.
I love the mutual respect, and let's see, 6.55 required. Gets a bit of squirt off that back foot there on his backhand. Eyes up the section. So 2 really powerful maneuvers in a critical part of the wave. There's the 3rd and a 4th. So Adriano, he's surfing for about a mid-range 6. So I think when you're in this position though, Joe, you gotta just let it all hang out. I mean, you've seen a couple of those top 8 surfers be relegated. Connor Coffin got his spot, bumped a couple surfers down. So here Adriano is surfing for that top 8 spot. Does he get super deep on this vision? Look, a bit of spit as he does that last turn there. 2-turn combo. And then, like you said, that mutual respect for the world champs. Such a beautiful thing in our sport.
I don't know if anyone else in history has had a better run against Slater. Well, things were interesting. They met the first 7 times. Kelly was undefeated. Oh, that was so extra special to catch up with Adriano de Souza. So much weight off his shoulders. Never in his career has it not mattered for points or numbers until now. And he'll have another shot. So far, sitting in 4th, but more surfers in the bonus to come. Owen Wright, backhand jam, 6'3". He can get extra low. Pulls in, still traveling. Owen finds more room under the hood. How's he looking, Waz?
Wow. I mean, I can see his jersey getting touched by the lip, and if that can mean disaster, but he comes through, and he just hammers the lip twice. Beautiful slide of the tail, mixing it up, straight back up into the lip, putting that frame in there. Unbelievable form on the backhand barrel, as you can see right there. This technique is so hard to keep in there that long. Here we go. What's he going to finish with? Kicks the tail out. Beautiful little tap reverse on the inside. Owen Wright on fire, but guess what? The quietest one in the pool. Nobody, nothing, not a word out of him. I love it.
I love it too, Strider. Yeah, just game face. I saw Owen yesterday after he was leaving. He said, great job. And he said, I love this event. He loves the competition, loves the pressure. And I'm always impressed how low he can go, being one of the biggest guys on tour in that pit.
I was going to say, you know, the stigma that, you know, the bigger guys on tour are at a disadvantage at this place. He explodes that to smithereens because Owen Wright fits so well in that small tube. And then his lanky frame finds the power pocket. He's so just languid and flexible and just attacks that lip when he gets to that top third. Beautiful transition through those maneuvers. He stays so tight to that pocket. It's so critical.
So critical with his backside turns, and I love the flare. When you're almost running out of gas, Owen shows that he's in fine form fitness-wise, and we don't see that on every finish.
I love that. I mean, look at that foot. Almost slips off the back there. Has to use the hand to kind of get that grab. Beautiful finish from Owen. That's what I was going to say, Joe. You could tell by his reaction. He was a little bit disappointed with that number, but now it's almost like, hey, just let water off a duck's back, get set to go on the left.
Owen Wright always loving the energy at this event. Sometimes he was riding different size boards over the years. He said he's been sticking with the board that came to him in a dream. And Kelly Slater entered his dream and gave him the details on a dimension that he thought he'd do well on, and they made it come to life with Darren Handley. Last chance for Owen Wright to move on here. Snap to slide on the second effort for Owen. Another tight jam there, chasing down to 7.10. Bottom drops out. Wade grows in size. Big hack there with that layback. Big blowtail. A lot of risk in that maneuver, and that's going to take down Big O. He was letting it all hang out there. Some gigantic maneuvers down the stretch, but that's going to be tough to get when you miss the back half of the wave.
Like all of the exciting performances we've seen today, you have to be on the edge of your seat while watching these rides. Owen couldn't afford to let anything be left behind in the water. 7.10 is what he needed. He had to go for broke. Releases right there, hangs onto it, goes for it again, and then unfortunately on that one just missed time. We know how unfortunate it is when that white water catches up to you and you just can't get around the section. That right there was beautiful though. Owen just hanging on like a cat.
So cool to see him push this hard, Rosie, but this was really the turn that cost him the rest of the wave.
And had he made that though, Joe, those two big blowtails, that for me is the riskiest part of that left. We all know, we've seen it throughout this competition, how many people have gone down on that section. So risk-reward factor.
These guys know how to take a big blow from just landing in the flats or dealing with rolling off a shallow reef. They just do it all in stride. Being on the top 34, you can call yourself one of the best surfers in the world. This is the stage where you can win a world title to be the undisputed world champ. Yago Dora getting started on the right. Needs to get into the top 8. He's 9th at the moment. Connor Coffin holding his breath because he's got the 8th spot. Flowing into this tube. It's getting really tight. And almost a bit smaller than the one we had this morning. He'll adjust from that back to the wall. See the wave growing in size as the open face shows up. Beautiful sequence of backhand turns right in the critical part of the wave. Slams on the brakes. Dora styling on the inside cave. Hard off the bottom, quick jam, combos it up with another vertical turn, even a third after the pit. He's still going. Not letting any piece of that wave go unridden. Connor's going, all right, here we go. Is that enough? Connor's saying in that 8th spot for Dora on the right. He's looking for a 5.97. His massive score was already on the left, so this was going to be his closest direction to try to take that spot off Connor.
100%. You know, a touch under a 6 is what he requires. The 5.97, solid surfing. He didn't surf out of his skin, Joe, but still, it was solid. Just went to that rail work, got deep in that barrel, hammers these inside section. You made a good point. It almost looked like this wave was a touch smaller than the other waves we've seen in the basin. We know that there are slight variations in the wave, and this was a good example of that. Stays tight in that pocket, low center of gravity. Beautiful fin release there. Touches the deck of that surfboard.
Now we're going to get the chance to see him surf this left. I mean, I feel like he's going to go all out, you know, having that jump and feeling that vibe and the energy that we've seen out of him. Here he goes. We're going to take off right now with Yago Dora paddling in. Beautiful. Nice and clean. Quick setup turn. Back up into the lip. Fins are free right there already. Nice speed turn to set up. Big float. Coming to the inside corner. There it is. The big whip. I love it. That's high risk out here on the outside of the wave. High reward. Another down carve. Bang. Straight up into the lip right there. He's on fire right now. He's feeling it. Take it away, Joe. How about that layback snap?
One of the raddest layback wrap snaps we've seen here in the basin. Throwing a little stall to pull into the pit. Fully shacked. Dora to the sky, and he'll reverse that thing around. Stand up for the pose. Dora, you are a magician. That was just poetry in motion. Smooth off the top on the face and smooth above the lip as well. One of the coolest lefts we've seen all weekend for Yago Dora, waiting for scores. More action continues on finals day right after this quick break. Welcome back to the show. Things got very interesting with Yago Dora turning in the biggest number we've seen all weekend, a 9.5 on the left. Jumped into third as Kanoa dropped to fourth. Safe in the top 8, but Igarashi might just want quick payback. He'll sit down real quick to get barreled. Fades out. Why not as well go right back inside? Driving through that section on the open face, right into that tail release. Champion at Karamas, been runner-up in the Pipe Masters. Front side wrap, nice and stylish. For the surfer representing Japan on tour. Into the inside cave, he wants to go above the lip. Corrupt for Kanoa. Couldn't hang on, landed on the roof. And then lost the transition out. Incredibly close to a massive finishing move.
And how much more risky is it to land on the roof of that wave? You know, he almost overextended it just such. You can tell Kanoa, every time that he's hitting the basin, he's bringing his best. He knows that it's him in this wave, and that's all there is to it. How can he bring a point of difference, something unique? Love that fact that he just burnt that speed off in that barrel halfway through. That is so risky and so technical.
Very creative with the changes he had with maneuvers. Had a bit of time there. I think he'd realized wasn't too worried about the tube.
But they're landing on the roof. Would have been more critical.
These guys basically practicing now for what they're going to bring in the finals here at the surf ranch.
Thank you, Strider. Yago's doing it with grace as well. It never looks like he's in a rush or out of position on this wave. It's pretty easy to fall out of place or sink, and his tempo's perfect. This is Igarashi. Last right came through at a 7.07. Remember, missed the corrupt. Nice tight top turn speed jam into a climb, hard off the bottom. There's the blowtail. Representing Japan, raised in Huntington Beach, two-time US Open champ, belts it. Nice control and form through the vertical sections of the wave. He'll climb it. This is that sign where it's about to get hollow. Sneaks in that final turn on a very steep section. Had so much speed and looks like he wanted a rodeo. The way his body language was looking, and kind of rushed that section, caught him a little bit too early.
Yeah, he just kind of mistimed that last section a little bit, but still, you know, it's not going to really affect his standing on the leaderboard.
World number 1 Gabriel Medina had the huge news that was released here at the Surf Ranch that he had clinched a spot already. Here it stopped 6 out of 8 in the regular season for the Rip Curl WSL Finals, so already planning on hanging out with Medina at Lower Trestles this September as he'll be fighting for a 3rd world title. Back to Igarashi here.
Yeah, Kanoa setting up these turns, touches the rail of that board, gets super low. A little bit of water on the inside rail there, Joey, but he wipes it off, stays critical.
Pace is rapid fire, throwing some fins out too, so he was surfing with the intent to get his spot back from Yago Dora. What about the two, bro?
That's a little bit of coverage there. Like you said, he just rushed that last section there. Doesn't quite get what he was looking for. It is cool to think about how these top guys are kind of wanting to up the ante to get to that #1 spot.
Gabriel Medina, now 27 years of age, won his first world title at 20. Time flies. Back in 2014, he kicked off with a win at the season opener over Parko in the final on Joel's home court at Snapper Rocks.
Yeah, we have watched these athletes grow up on tour.
And now, happily married, his wife here in Lemoore, enjoying his performances. And top 6, he's made 4 finals this season. As he's just going slow motion on this thing. Clear sign that he's saving himself. But he'll still enjoy the ride, feel his equipment shaped by Johnny Cambianca. And this is a clear strategy. When you know you've qualified, he's just enjoying this ride at the moment, Strider.
I love it. He's just going to let those legs ice out a little bit, enjoy the better part of surfing, and which we all know as the barrel ride. A couple little snaps on the inside, maybe going to wind up for something big right here. Testing out maybe options for the final, but I think that, Gabriel Medina, he's always thinking, he's always on his pulse of what he needs to do to better himself. And right there, saving the legs, getting him ready, and testing out the board. I feel like he's on a future fin system right now for this left, and I think that he wants to see how kind of pop he can put into it. He's switched out between FCS and future throughout his practice runs, and right now he's just on what is the future system. So we'll see if that is in effect and what kind of strategy he comes up with here on the left if he actually goes for it.
I like that. Strider's taking a chance just to test some equipment out. And I mean, Rosie, he's not even in first gear. I would love to surf like that. I mean, he's still ripping, looking smooth and taking it calm. But I think it goes on to say, we always talk about how competitive he is in the water, hassling for the first wave, his talent in all sorts of conditions. Well, let's go to his brain as well with strategy. I mean, he's got to be one of the smartest competitors on tour, even with this format. He's not trying to blow too much energy at this point.
And smart from him. I think, like I said, we've watched these guys grow up on tour, and they've worked out the ins and outs of this. I mean, we expect him every wave to attack it and go for it. But honestly, it is about choosing your moments, choosing how you spend your energy.
What an incredible moment in the story of Gabriel Medina. Will officially be competing for a 3rd world title in September. And there's a telltale sign, Rosie, saving the legs, taking it extra casual, not worried about taking the lead off Toledo. He's going to go for a nice and easy frontside punt.
Can I bring up a question, Joey?
Please.
So, John is obviously injured. He's had a big win at the Pipe Masters, and there is a kind of rivalry between Medina and John. Both of them have 2 world titles apiece. What do you think John's thinking if he's watching this event, knowing that Medina's showed up his place in the top 5 and can go for a 3rd world title?
Well, I love that question as we watch Medina just kind of race his way and down carve out of that wave. When you ask John over the years, what was your reaction to Medina winning first? He said that motivated him more than anything to get his world title. And they both sort of kind of matched each other with 2 apiece. Medina, was more consistent at pipe on John's home court before John finally won. And that's how we started the year. It was John and Medina, number 1 and 2 in the world, with Florence taking the Pipe Masters title. Definitely one of the coolest modern day rivalries. I know they enjoy a friendship as well outside of that, but I don't know if anyone motivates these guys more than each other with John and Medina.
And there's such good camaraderie between, the top guys on tour. Mutual respect, we've seen it throughout this event, but definitely on display at the Pipe Masters with John Florence and Gabriel Medina. I loved seeing that sportsmanship. Griffin and Connor Coffin.
Ooh, I like that.
Taking those places.
And
for the
enjoying
final
your
five.
article on worldsurfleague.com. yourself and Kaipo making predictions. I feel like predictions in surfing might be the hardest thing in any sport to do.
True.
Conditions change, trying to figure out what they're riding. As Filipe Toledo, our #1 seed, you can tell he's in a low gear. And we're reminded of what happened in the year previous, or I guess 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Last year was off, 2019. He had all that back pain, but he had that big number, the highest score on the right, and then he just really couldn't compete for the win. He even surfed the wave through. He sat down and got barreled on the way on the inside section, but he truly didn't get to really fight at 100% for the win in 2019 when he was right there with a good shot.
Here he goes, switch, just to entertain us all. But Joe, I was right there. I was on that side of the pool when he was laying down, could barely move, and just showed us his heart and his tenacity. Made his way up. I was like, are you going to compete? And he's like, I'm going to do it. But yeah, he was in so much pain fighting through for that final spot.
So now it's great. A whole nother year for Filipe Toledo in another good position to finally take this win. He's had one win this year already, and it was at Margaret River. Okay, how do you do this, Rosie?
I don't know. I haven't done it before. We have to ask Filipe.
It's like he's sitting on a chair, that parallel stance. He's even just like sliding the stall. I think that got him in trouble.
Okay, sorry, but you know what? That made me feel better about myself. I'm like, you little smarty pants. But so cool to see the guys just entertain us. We always have a big smile on our face watching them.
It just shows how talented they are even further. Just when they're loose, having fun, and talk about a good way to relax when it's going to be a pressure situation here on finals day.
Yeah, 4-fin option there. Also going to that dark arts technology. We saw him yesterday, probably on a PU and epoxy, mixing up that equipment and staying on the Sharp Eye. The Sharp Eye team are doing so well.
It's a complete takeover. And I think, you know, you got to hand credit to this man, Toledo, kind of the captain of that team. Most of the team on Sharp Eye riding all of his models. And he's happy-go-lucky. I mean, there aren't really finals day scenarios in the ocean where you can just cruise. Right now, he's just trying to take that pressure off, relax, save everything he can for the semifinals and final. Remember, this year the format changes to one-on-one in the final. Another clean slate.
Joey, if it is 8 waves to the final, how many miles are you surfing where this basin is over 700 yards long?
It's such a good point. I mean, this thing's traveling, carrying you for about 45 seconds. The speed of the wave is right around the 20+ mile-an-hour mark. Groundswell power, so it is the most taxing wave on tour. And now switch in the pit. Why not? Toledo deep, going goofy. And laying it down with a carve as well.
I'm mad at him.
Yeah.
I'm mad. I'm not talking
fair.
to Felipe.
It's not fair. That is unbelievable. Got so deep. I mean, this is always talked about the future. Maybe one day surfers will be talented, goofy, regular. I mean, kind of like the old school Rusty Kealana story where he won world titles going both ways. Maybe Toledo in the future is going to make that as a weapon. Well, we've got our semifinals set. We'll be back here at the Surf Ranch for more right after this.